you know, just looking after the temple. Because as we look after our temples, and you know, the healthier we are inside, the healthier the world will be outside. Most of the problems that we see in the world are caused by people not taking care of their inside worlds. What is up, Soul Fam? It's Sandal from Substance Overstar, and welcome to a new video. Okay, so got some really nice comments on last week's video. I think a lot of people found the meditation that I did at the end very helpful. So if you haven't seen that, then go and give it a watch, because honestly, like, after I did it, I felt so amazing afterwards. So today's video was a requested one from Rick Hallett, asking me to give a retreat schedule for people who are kind of stuck in lockdown. Personally, my schedule has not really changed. The lockdown, I don't really like to call it lockdown anyway, because we're still allowed outside. I'm free in my mind. I'm still going to do everything that I want to do. You know, I'm okay with social distancing because, you know, I've got so many things on my plate right now that, like, having an excuse to not have to socialize is actually quite beneficial. And I'm going to share some recommendations of what I did when I was in Bali, because that's where I was during the first lockdown. So when, you know, the whole virus hit and, you know, it was like, oh, social distancing, everybody must social distance, I can remember just feeling like a huge sense of relief, because I was in Bali, and because I travel so much, I'm always feeling like a little bit pressured to meet up with people all the time, because, you know, if I've gone to like Bali for like 6 months or even a year, or Cambodia or wherever, all the different places that I travel to, then when I come back to London, a lot of my friends want to meet up and catch up, and then we meet up and I realise that they might have only seen each other like once or twice, like, since I've been away, or sometimes not even at all. So I feel like with the amount I travel, I'm actually meeting up with people like even more frequently than some people do in London anyway, because everybody's so busy, like, you know, running on this hamster wheel. But in Bali, I was getting pulled in all these different directions to go party here, party there, all these different model nights. And, you know, that's not really what I'm about anymore. I do think networking is important. And I do like to kind of socialize and hang out with friends. But, you know, if I'm trying to make something happen in my life, like I've got like a goal, a business project, or something that I'm trying to bring into manifestation, I get into such a flow state that I really don't like having those types of distractions. I don't even like working out. Like, I don't even like getting up and like doing a workout in the morning when I've got something that I just like to kind of keep my nose to the grindstone until it's done. That's how I work when I'm in flow state anyway. But other people are different. Other people like to take regular breaks, and you've got to figure out what type of person you are. Like, what are you trying to achieve now that we have this time where we're not, you know, socializing, and we're being again called to go within? Which areas of your life are you trying to improve? For me, it was really helpful to not, because I didn't have the distraction of going out, I was able to cultivate a morning routine. And that's something that I've never really had before, because as a model, my life is kind of chaotic. Like, every day is completely different. Like, there's no real structure. Like, you know, some days I would have to wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning to go and do a shoot, and I have like an early call time, and so I'll be like on set for like maybe 8 hours or 4 hours sometimes, or sometimes 12 or 16 hours. Sometimes I might be doing that every day for several days. So then, you know, when I finish that assignment or that job, then I come home and I might sleep for 2 days, not the whole time, but, you know, I might sleep a lot for the next 2 days and just be very lazy, and just read books or just do whatever, just check emails. So that, like, having every day the same meant that I was able to develop a really healthy structure, and that was really, really good for me to develop my my masculine energy. So those of you know that I'm really into, you know, polarities and balancing of these two energies. I was working a lot on my feminine energy last year and embodiment and things like that, receptivity and all of these things, and kind of breaking down that masculinized shell that I was carrying. But when you start to, you know, develop your femininity, sometimes the masculine can then fall out of balance. So, you know, having structure is really helpful for that. So I would get up in the morning and do meditation or breath work for like 5 or 10 minutes, then have coffee, read a book, and I still do little bits of this. I'll talk about that later, but this is what I was doing in Bali. So I'd have a coffee, read a book for like half an hour, and I would not touch my social media for that first half hour. Then I would get up and I would do yoga, or you know, some kind of maybe Pilates workout, but it was usually with yoga, and I would do at least 10 or 15 minutes. Sometimes it would be half an hour, sometimes it would even be an hour. But as long as I committed to doing that 10 minutes, then I had that structure set up. It really depended on what I had to do that day. If I had loads to get done that day and I was on a deadline, then I would only do 10 minutes. And I would be working on splits, and back bends, and both of those are quite related, and I'll talk about why in another video. I don't want to kind of get, you know, too, whoa, look at that sun. Let me just fix this light. Yeah, so it's the thing when you're using natural light. So I would be working on splits and back bends for various reasons. You know, we store a lot of like subconscious blocks in our legs, so, you know, feelings related to like abandonment, betrayal, guilt, shame, you know. So if you want to move forward in your life with more aligned action, then doing, you know, stretching out the legs can be really, really helpful. So I was working on that. And then I would, by this point it would be lunchtime, because I'm not a morning person. So, you know, I would be getting out of bed at like 9:30, sometimes 10, you know, sometimes 11. It depended on what time I went to bed. Like if I went to bed at like 2 or 3 a.m, then sometimes it would be 11. So by this point it would be lunchtime. So then I'd have lunch. And then in the afternoon, then I would have the whole afternoon until dinner time to just crush goals. And in that time, I built the website for my model scouting business. And previously I had felt so disempowered because I had paid somebody else to do it, and this person was just not delivering, and they took forever. They took like a year or something to build this website, which had so many little problems with it. And, you know, every time I would tell her, you know, this needs to be fixed, this and that needs to be fixed, she would fix like one thing, and, you know, then she would make more mistakes, and it was just a nightmare. So I decided to give it a go myself, because I had all this time. And I built my own website on Squarespace. Didn't ask them to sponsor this video, but I might do that. But yeah, it was so easy. So that's what, because of having that structured morning routine, it meant that when I was then, you know, sat down at my desk to work, I could have like a very, very focused output, solid for like, you know, 4 or 5 hours. I could bust out 4 or 5 hours of work. I would take, you know, regular breaks. I would get to have like a little milestone, like, okay, I'm gonna upload one artist portfolio to the website, and then once that's done, then I'm going to take a break, and then I would take like a 5-minute break to check Facebook or to make another drink or whatever. So having a morning routine and cultivating a morning routine can really, really help boost your productivity. And if you don't have other distractions, like, you know, going out in the evening for drinks and things like that, then I think that, you know, you can make it a really nice, you know, luscious morning routine that's all about you, so that, you know, when you feel it, the idea is that you're basically filling up your own cup with things that make you feel good, so that you have a high set point frequency going into the day, so that you can now pour from a full cup, because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? So that's what you're doing, you're filling up your cup. Now that I'm in London, my output is actually a lot bigger, and so I don't really have as much time to do, you know, half an hour of yoga every morning, and, 10 minutes of breath work, and I was also practicing different like quantum healing techniques as well on myself. And doing a bunch of online courses as well, but these were things that I was integrating into the morning routine. So I don't have as much time now that I'm working on the Himalayan Kriya Yoga membership, so because that takes most of my time. So now my morning routine basically consists of, I'll get up, I'll do 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes of meditation, and the meditation will involve breath work and affirmations so that I can get all of that in within the 20 minutes, and it will be affirmations, whatever it is that I'm working on, whether I'm trying to manifest money, whether I'm trying to lose weight, whether I'm trying to just improve my self-concept. I will have those affirmations included into the meditation, and then I'll wake up, make myself coffee, read a book. The book reading will sometimes only be about 10 minutes, because while I'm drinking the coffee, then I'm also checking emails or checking my social media, because I just don't have as much time as I did when I was in Bali. And then I will just crush the day, and it will usually be video editing, or sometimes I might be preparing the lesson plan, or I might be recording the audio, or I might be even filming. And if I'm filming, then I'll get up early and do the filming at when I have the daylight. So yeah, cultivating a morning routine, cannot recommend it highly enough, especially if you're trying to create something as well and you're trying to bring something out. If you're just trying to bring something in, like you're trying to learn something, learn a new skill, then doing like an online course or something like that can definitely become part of your morning routine before you have your other work that you need to do. Now, everybody's in a different situation. Some people are working from home, some people are furloughed. If you're furloughed, then you're obviously in the best position. Some people are really struggling right now, and if your business is suffering, then my heart goes out to you. I don't really have that much to suggest there. Hopefully we will all get through this. I personally just don't agree with how governments are behaving about this whole thing, especially in countries where you're not receiving government support, but yet you're still being forced to close down your business. That to me is just tyranny, and it's just wrong. So yeah, I don't agree with that at all, and hopefully I think people will wake up to that, and I think that what's happening now is necessary for people to wake up to what government actually is. I've talked about that in previous videos, which I will link. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion on the subject. But the way that I see things are kind of unfolding, and people are waking up to that now. And a couple of things that I would recommend people incorporate. Like if you're furloughed, for example, that's the best position to be in. Just take up a new practice. Like what is it that you're trying to work on? Are you trying to learn a new language? Are you wanting to improve your health and fitness? One of the things that I started incorporating daily during the first lockdown was breath work. Now, I've done breath work before, and I'd been to various workshops where we did various different breathwork exercises, and I'd had massive benefit from it. But doing it every day, or it wasn't even every day, it was like every couple of days, I just saw such a profound benefit from it. So I was doing the Wim Hof or Marcel Hof technique. They're brothers, right? So the Yogi Lab, Aaron Balihigh from the Yogi Lab approached me and asked me if I wanted to try out their online course, and you should check it out. I've posted a link in the description box. I do get a kickback if you sign up for the course. It's a massive discount right now. I think the course was originally like $162, but because of COVID, they've now cut it in half, more than half anyway, and you can get the course now for only $47. And it's a 5-day course that basically guides you through the technique and the system. So on the first day, it starts off a little bit more gentle, and then it gets more and more intense as you become more accustomed to it. So for me, I actually just stick with the first day or the second day sometimes if I want something a bit more intense. And I've just received just an incredible benefit from that alone. The first time I did this breath work technique, it was so powerful for detoxing, because the breath basically cleans out your body. This is the same thing that we do in the Himalayan Kriya system. We use breath to clear out your energy channels and release whatever your body is holding on to, any old stories, any old traumas that are keeping you stuck, basically. So the first time I did it, I had such a powerful emotional release that I was literally bawling my eyes out in the middle of the workshop. And I was the only one as well. It was really embarrassing, because I was just experiencing like really intense release of like very old traumas that I'd been holding on to like since I was a child. And then I did it again and again. It was more of the same stuff releasing. It wasn't like, it's kind of like emotional flashbacks, okay? It's not like I get like visuals of the trauma, but feelings and emotions and stories and beliefs that are related to it were like purging from my system. And then again, the third time I did it was the same, similar traumas releasing, or basically not the same trauma, but what happens is when a trauma becomes lodged in your field, it becomes a vibrational point of attraction for you to experience similar again. And that's where you get triggered by certain things. You get triggered because they remind you of things that you've experienced before, and it's coming up so that you can re-experience it, so that you can heal it. So I was releasing traumas that were similar, that were the same story but weren't the same event. And yeah, it was powerful release. And then after that, every time I did it, I just felt that, and this is where the real medicine comes, it starts to activate the dopamine. So you literally start to feel high, and you start to feel like so energized once it's released. So now when I do it, I feel like I can get up and I can just crush the day, because it's just activating the dopamine within your system. It's also really good for your immune system. So if you're worried about your immunity, which a lot of people are at the moment, then it's a really good one to check out. So give that a go. Also, the Yogi Lab they're launching, or may have just launched, a online Vipassana retreat, because Aaron's a really big fan of doing Vipassana. He does it like I think twice a year. I've seen him do it several times in the time that I've known him. So they're now doing an online one, so you don't even have to leave your house, and it's 100% free. So give that a go as well. And yeah, he's just I wanted to plug him as well, because he's a really, really amazing example of like true divine masculine entrepreneurship that's integrated with the divine feminine principle of care, compassion, and service to others. So, he does so many things for the community in Bali, and it's all about like giving back and stuff. He runs Karma House, which is founded on those principles, and Conscious Arts, which is a tattoo shop in Ubud, and now the Yogi Lab. So they're doing some really, really amazing things in Bali. So have a look. They're doing a bunch of online courses that you can get involved in, and they're all filmed from beautiful Bali, so you can get the feeling that you're kind of there as much as is possible while we're all in lockdown. Okay, other things that you can do. Yoga is amazing for everybody. Everybody should have some kind of yoga practice, whether it's meditation. And people think when I say yoga, people think of yoga as asanas. Asanas are important. Asanas is the poses, so doing like a yoga sequence of postures is important. Definitely everybody should have an asana practice as well. It's important, even if you're a person who does other kinds of movement based exercises like belly dancing, or any kind of dancing, or whether you go to the gym. Certain yoga asanas will help you stretch out certain parts of your body and will improve your flexibility and even your strength. But I don't just mean asanas, I mean yoga in general. So breath work is yoga, meditation is yoga. It's a complete science, right? Bhakti, devotion, singing. So like, listening to music, you can put on music. Make sure that the music that you're playing is got the proper frequency, because most popular music uses 440 hertz, which is actually not good for the human body. It can cause all kinds of problems. It basically makes your body and your organs vibrate at a certain frequency that it doesn't like, and it can cause problems like entity attachments. So try and listen to music that's at 432 hertz. There's other frequencies as well, depending on what you're trying to work on, like, and you know, different parts of your body. If you're trying to heal different parts of your body, you can use different healing frequencies for that. So, you know, just while you're doing something, you might be doing some kind of right-brained activity like drawing, or, you know, making things, which is another thing that you can take up if you're furloughed. Creativity, because creativity, painting, drawing, you know, making jewelry, sewing. I love doing these things because it gets you out of your left brain and into your right brain. And when you're balancing those brain hemispheres, you become a balanced person, you become a healthier person, you become a more sovereign, self-realized person, because the energy can flow evenly throughout your body. It's, you know, there's so many benefits to kind of activating that right brain. It connects you to your intuition, to your femininity. All of those things are so, so important. And just to be able to discern truth, there's no way that you can discern truth if you're only using the logical left brain. You need to also be able to use your intuition, your gut, your heart intelligence. So yeah, you know, while drawing, while sketching, while, you know, beading or macrame or whatever it is that you like to do, put on like a nice healing frequency. I love doing that, like in the evening, or like, you know, I'll just start doodling and things like that. So yeah, I think definitely, like I said in my first video, use this opportunity as a chance to go within, to connect with, you know, the feminine, the subconscious, all of that stuff, because we've been in such a yang dominated culture for so long. And I do realize that it is swinging the other way. It is swinging more towards the feminine, and in fact in many respects it's going too far towards the feminine. So we do need to bring it back in, but that's again where I talk about, you know, your morning routine and developing that structure. So, you know, look at the areas of your life that you need to cultivate. Like if you've been working too hard and running on a treadmill and, you know, always worried about like paying the bills and things like that, and in the yang mode, then definitely connect more to the yin and the right brain and creativity and, you know, all of those things. But if you have been the opposite, for me, I'm actually working more on my masculine energy right now, because having that structure, provision, protection, support, all of those things are really key and really important for me to cultivate right now. So it's really an individual personal journey depending on where you are at personally. But yeah, I definitely, when I'm too much in yang mode, I like to make time for intuitive dance. So and sometimes if I've just been working so hard, I posted about it like last week. I just put on a little bit of music and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna roll up a joint and dance just to this song, just 5 minutes. And literally what came through was like just all this emotion that I'd been holding on to that I didn't want to feel, because again, yang is all about just go, do, not so much being and feeling. So suddenly I got into my heart space and felt all the things that I had been holding on to and just released it. I had a good cry while I was dancing. It was amazing. And then I just really I just connected to, like, you know, that deep womb of creation, the womb of the great mother. And I just channeled loads of fucking captions for my Instagram, because it's so important nowadays, especially if we do want to be able to be like entrepreneurial, to be creative. And you can't do that without having a balanced right brain, without having, you know, femininity, a feminine aspect. So, you know, I channeled some amazing ideas, you know, content and things like that. And just during that it ended up being 10-15 minutes. And yeah, it was amazing. And I need to do it again, really. But yeah, healthy eating as well. You know, now that everybody's at home and can't go out and eat, you can really choose, you know, what goes into your temple and choose it well, and make sure that it's, you know, home cooked and unprocessed and plant-based and really nourishes you know, your body as much as possible. So yeah, all of those things, you know, just looking after the temple. Because as we look after our temples, and, you know, the healthier we are inside, the healthier the world will be outside. Most of the problems that we see in the world are caused by people not taking care of their inside worlds. So yeah, I think that's all I've got to say on that. If you want to suggest more videos, I am always open for that. Send me a DM on Instagram. As always, I'm also available for sessions. If you want to book a session with me, then you can send me a DM on Instagram as well. Sign up for my Patreon, my Kriya yoga membership. It will help you detox your emotional body and activate your crown, your sovereignty, so you can come into union with yourself and activate your mission templates and all of that good stuff. And I will love you and leave you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out, soul fam.
You're introduced to LSD, and unless you've taken some other drug, like for instance like marijuana or something, well, you know, it's an altogether new thing, and you actually can have a religious experience. And